This is Phil Dixon coming to you with round two of This Day in Black Baseball History, the February 12th, 2026 edition. So, guys, I do want to pick up where I left off. If you want to hear a little bit more about what I'm doing, go ahead and listen to the first broadcast. I'll go ahead and release it when I'm finished with this one here. Right now, I have it on private, so I need to release it. Okay. So, guys, I do want to thank you for joining, and I'm going after that 10 subscribers. I need to reach 600. So, this is a pretty ambitious move here. We've been growing little by little, and but people are learning lots of baseball. So, guys, let me keep it going here. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and I'm going to jump right in here because I gave one segment of it. I'm going to go back and give you just a few more. Okay. So here we go. This is the February 2nd, 1926. Fred Long. I don't know if you remember Fred Long, one of the winningest football coaches of all time. If you look at the top 10 winningest football coaches of all time, you will find Fred Long's name amongst those players, right? Or those coaches. He was a great baseball player himself. So anyway, Fred Long announced that his college team from Wiley University would be getting their start early for the 1926 season. They're about to start here this coming week. And he announced a few players that he especially was excited about who were going to be back. And that was Bill Lucas of Shreveport, the veteran southpaw pitcher. He is elected as the team captain, and Lucas was a junior in 1926, and he pitched professionally with the Harrisburg Giants of the Eastern Color League, and of course he was from Shreveport, lefty. So he also is going to have John Shackelford back, who was a great field goal kicker and quarterback from the football team. So he's going to be back. And John Shackelford, and he had played for the Chicago American Giants in 1925. In addition to that, he's going to bring back Leroy Taylor. Leroy Taylor had the great opportunity to interview his daughter many years ago. So Leroy Taylor is going to come back and play with the college team. Now, he was on the campus before in 25, but he hurt his leg when he went to play baseball, believe it or not, with the Chicago American Giants, and that injury nagged him for the rest of his career. And actually, he had what they called a trick knee. So when he played with the Monarchs, he'd be chasing a fly ball, and his knee would jump out of socket. And so he had to stop and pop that knee back in the socket, and then continue with the play. And his daughter told me that he went in for surgery on that trick knee many years later. He was older, and he passed away from that injury, from that surgery. So that was Leroy Taylor. Yeah, he was a great one. You know, funny thing about that trick knee, I coached for about 35 years, and I had a baseball player who played for me who had the same kind of issue. And we would be playing, and I think it was his leg, and it would jump out of socket. And my son plays center field, right next. Actually, he played center field for me. My son played in left field, and so sometimes we had to make sure that if a ball came his way, if he was running, if something happened to his leg, that we'd have to cover that territory. So he played for me. The same kid from probably the time he was in the 5th or 6th grade till he graduated. And believe it or not, we learned how to manage that trick knee all the way through his career. And when he graduated, he was able to get the surgery and fix it. So I have experience with that trick knee. All right. So guys, if you follow me, let me know where you're coming in from. I do see Will from Hackensack. He knows the drill here. Let me know where you're coming from. And if you like this kind of conversation, stay with me. Subscribe. I'm trying to get that 10 subscribers, guys, so I can get that 600. That's my goal, all right? This week, we got to do it. All right, so let's go to this. February 12th, 1952. 7 players from the defunct New Orleans Eagles of the Negro American League are sold to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that list included Marvin Price, Eddie Brooks, Leroy Hamilton, Larry Cunningham, Lacey Goose Geis, maybe Guic Geis, William Beverly, and Vincent Husband. They were the players. Now, what happened to all those guys? And so I did a little research, and I thought I would check to see what happened after they were signed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, believe it or not, none of them actually made it to the Pirates as far as I can tell. However, um, we had Marvin Price. He played 1956. He was with the Baltimore Orioles organization. And this is after a brief period in the military. And he played in their minor league system before he retired and began playing semi-professional ball. Eddie Brooks, 1953, had played for the Chicago. He did come back and play for the Chicago American Giants, not in the Pirates organization. He was selected to the 1953 East-West game in the Negro Leagues, and he had no minor league experience after that. How about Leroy Hancock? 1953, he hadn't played professional ball, got signed in 1952, and guess what? I couldn't find him in organized baseball in 1953. Maybe someone can help me out. How about Larry Cunningham? 1955 to 1956, he played for Eugene, an independent team, and he played 146 games in 1955 and batted a sweet 288 and averaged 14 home runs, all right, and a total of 969 putouts over 2 seasons. And how about Larry Geis? He played for the Chicago American Giants the year before and actually ended up playing for them in 1952, and I could not find any minor league play for him. Now, Vincent Husband, I couldn't find anything related to where he played baseball in the 1952 season. Now, one of the players I did have the pleasure of interviewing, and that was William Beverly. And he served in the military in 1953, but he came back and played minor league baseball. Now, we had some interesting conversation. He played in the Canadian American League, Can-Am League, and he was a pitcher. Now, he was also the nephew of Charlie Beverly. His father was Green Beverly, which was Charlie's brother, who had played minor league baseball. So Green Beverly, I knew about him. And so I was able to get more information on Charlie Beverly from William Beverly. And I was looking at some of my notes before I came on, and I was talking to William Beverly back in 1989. And there's a baseball player named Tom Cooper who played for the Kansas City Monarchs. Actually, his contract was sold to a minor league team in the 1950s. And this was a guy who played under Buck O'Neill. And Tom Cooper was their cousin. So a lot of family relation there. The greatest of those players, without question, was Charlie Beverly. Charlie Beverly was simply one of the most outstanding left-handed pitchers of the I'm going to say maybe the mid to early 1930s. And J.L. Wilkinson pitched him so much, just like he did John Donaldson before 1920, that he threw out that lefty's arm. And unfortunately for Charlie, when that wing was messed up, he could never fly again. Donaldson did make a comeback and had many years of baseball, but the same man destroyed their arms. It was J.L. Wilkinson who destroyed John Donaldson's arm with the All Nations by pitching him too often, almost every day. And the same thing with Beverly when the Monarchs were outside of the league in the 1930s, all right? So here we go. Got one more for you, and then I'm going to close it off tonight, and then I'll just see if you have some questions. Somebody says, okay, now don't forget, if you're picking this broadcast up later on, be sure to subscribe, all right? In case, I just want to say that because some people never catch you live, but they happen to see this broadcast, okay? So we're going to go to February 12th, 1994, and we have Hall of Famer Ray Dandridge died in Palm Bay, Florida. Palm Bay. I wonder if that's Palm Beach, but I have Palm Bay. I don't know much about Palm Bay. And of course, Dandridge was born on August 31st, 1913, and he was 35 years old when he was signed by the Minneapolis Millers in the Giant organization. And he told them, guys, can you believe this? He told them he was only 29. And this guy was a sensational player. He's in the Hall of Fame today because of his performance. And so if you can imagine this, 1949, his first year. Now, these are veteran Negro League players that just a few years before then, they were telling you these guys aren't good enough to play in this league. But in 1949, Dandridge became the Rookie of the Year. All right, how about that? In the American Association, batted 362. And then in 1950, he batted 311, and he's named the league MVP, led the team to the championship. 1951, he continued to bat 300, and he batted 324. And he mentored a young guy you probably heard of by the name of Willie Mays when he joined the team. And of course, his last season in the American Association was 1952, and his average dropped down under 300, but just by 9 points. He batted .291 his last season in the American Association, and that was Ray Dandridge. And I happen to be a person who interviewed Ray, and I do have some of his, actually have his, something signed by him that is here in my home. So, guys, that does it for tonight. Now, this is an A and B selection, so I'm going to release both of these, and be sure and go and listen to them. So I want to thank everybody who's been a support. We're still trying to get to that 600 subscribers, guys. If anything you can do to share this broadcast, man, I would appreciate that. And we'll keep these conversations going. So tonight, just to say, in this second round, we had a chance to talk about William Beverly and Fred Long. Got to talk about Fred. Go look Fred Long up. That's one. A couple of guys that coach college football very successfully that you don't typically hear about. You know, we grew up hearing about, you know, Joe Paterno and Bear Bryant and all these people. But how many people knew that some of the winningest coaches were Eddie Robinson, Jake Gaither at Florida A&M, and then also Fred Long, who was, I think he was at Bishop and Wiley. And so these are Fred Long. I think he was coach for like 40, 45 years. And those guys had to coach a long time simply because of this, guys. They only played about maybe 7, 8 games in the whole year. So can you imagine you had to be there for a long time to be one of the winningest football coaches of all time. And on top of that, you had to win often. And Fred Long, Jake Gaither, and Eddie Robinson. I had the pleasure of interviewing Eddie Robinson on many occasions. So I do have things signed by him as well. So guys, I just been blessed to meet a lot of people over the years. And so I'm just sharing this information with you. And one of these days, I'm going to set it up where you can give me a call, a one-on-one. If you want to talk about specific players, we can do that. All right. So I appreciate you guys more than you ever know. And it's because of you that keeps me pumped up and keeps me coming back with all this information. So I want to thank you guys, and you have a nice evening. And this is Phil Dixon with This Day in Black Baseball History. This is part B of the part A and B conversation. And I hope to see you real soon, maybe tomorrow with another baseball fact. It's Friday, guys. And we'll be going on Saturday for Valentine's Day. Oh, man, I've got some good stuff. But I'll have to catch you early in the morning because most of you guys are probably going to be out on the town. I know I am. All right. Thank you, guys. You have a nice evening, and we'll see you real soon.